Okay, Larry, we're good.
Okay, so I guess we're going to start with Stephanie. She's first on our list, and let her go first. Floor is yours, Stephanie. Hello.
Hi, is there a way to share my screen?
You got to talk to Ralph. Ralph is the expert on that.
We've requested all presentations prior to the meeting.
Oh, I wasn't aware that we
You
had
need to email it to us because any presentation that's given is considered public, and we need to have a copy of it.
Okay, it's no problem. We can send you the copy. We just request that you keep it internal and not pass it around.
I don't think then, no.
No,
Because
that won't work, Stephanie.
if anyone requests, I need to, if this is a public meeting,
Mhm.
so any information that's given out here is considered to the public. If I have someone from the public request a presentation, I have to give them the presentation.
Okay.
So if you're not able to share it, then you need to just give us a verbal presentation on the programs and services you offer there.
Yeah, because the presentation is from the mayor's office, and if we have to share it out, we need to get prior approval.
Yeah, I understand.
Mhm.
So you can give us a verbal presentation and a briefing of, the services that you provide.
Yeah, that's no problem. Then I'll just start. So hi everyone, welcome, and thank you for letting me join in on your meeting today. To learn more about your rights as immigrants in New York City, my name is Stephanie, and I'm a member of the community engagement team here at the New York Immigration Coalition. So currently, the NYIC is working in collaboration with the New York City Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs to hold these Know Your Rights workshops. So before we get started, I just want to make it clear that I'm not a lawyer, and this presentation is to only serve as an education guide to help you learn about your rights as immigrant New Yorkers and some of the services that are available to you. It's not meant to serve as legal advice. So first, our objectives or goals for today are as follows. To learn about the recent changes to federal immigration policy. Second, to learn how to identify and interact with federal immigration officers. Third, to learn how to access free and safe legal services. And lastly, to learn about COVID-19 treatment and testing. So in the last few years, there's been a lot of changes to federal immigration policy. They can happen quickly and can be confusing. So we're going to cover the most up-to-date information on some of the major policy changes. So first up, we have is DACA, also known as Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. So DACA is the federal immigration program that began in 2012 under President Obama that helps undocumented immigrants who came to the U.S. when they were young. So DACA provides eligible undocumented immigrants with temporary protection from deportation as well as access to work authorization. The next big policy change we'll talk about is the travel ban. So the travel ban puts varying travel and immigration restrictions on people from predominantly Muslim and African countries by barring visa issuance and or entry into the U.S. The third major policy change we're covering is temporary protected status, also known as TPS. TPS allows for individuals from certain countries to remain in the U.S. if it is unsafe for them to return back to their host country due to a humanitarian emergency there. So for example, the federal government may designate a country for TPS if there's an armed conflict, like a civil war, or a natural disaster, like an earthquake. So TPS enables recipients to work in the U.S. lawfully and protects them from deportation as long as the TPS designation is still in effect. If you or someone you know might need legal assistance related to TPS, call 311 and say Action NYC for city-funded, free, and safe immigration legal help. So looking deeper into DACA, DACA is the federal immigration program that began in 2012. There was a recent court order made on December 7th regarding DACA. The decision was made to restore the program back to its original parameters in 2012. So this means that the program is now open to new applicants for the first time in over 3 years. advanced parole applications will be accepted again, and that any DACA recipient who was issued a 1-year EAD card and eligibility grant will have that converted to a 2-year grant and work permit. Litigation around DACA still continues, so it's quite possible that there could be additional changes to the program. We recommend you call 311 and say Action NYC for updates on immigration legal help. So next up, the travel ban, which was announced by President Trump at the beginning of his presidency and was upheld by the Supreme Court in June of 2018. However, since taking office, President Biden has repealed the travel ban. His executive order allows for people who were previously banned from obtaining visas to apply for and go through the due process. It also enables those who were previously denied visas an opportunity to reapply and reopen their case with the government. So now moving on to ICE. A very important thing to know if you ever interact with ICE agents is that they're not your local police officers. So in this case, the NYPD. It is important because the NYPD does not conduct civil immigration enforcement. You can report a crime to the NYPD and they should not ask about your immigration status. You should also know that the New York police officers, state troopers, also will not conduct civil immigration enforcement and will not ask about your immigration status. So sometimes ICE will have uniforms that say police on them. This can be confusing. Some of the ways that you can tell the difference between ICE and NYPD officers is by looking at the uniforms. So NYPD uniforms will usually have a patch on their arm that says City of New York on it, while ICE uniforms can say a few words, such as Federal Agent, Police, Police ICE, HSI, which stands for Homeland Security Investigation, or ICE HSI. Another way that you can tell the difference is by looking at their badges. So their badges are different. NYPD badges will say City of New York on it, while ICE badges will typically say ICE, Special Agent, or U.S. Department of Homeland Security. So some of the places where people may interact with ICE agents are at work, in public spaces, or their homes. So it's important to know your rights in each of these areas. Whether a location is public or private determines if the federal agent needs permission to enter. So your home or any private property home is considered a private space. Your place of work can contain both public as well as private spaces. The street, parks, and courthouses are all considered public spaces. So there are certain types of locations where ICE typically will not conduct civil immigration enforcement, and these are called sensitive locations. Examples of sensitive locations include your schools, hospitals, religious institutions like churches, and public ceremonies such as weddings, public demonstrations, rallies, and funerals. It's important to know that there is only an ICE policy and it can change at any time. So ICE has a number of investigative tools and databases that it uses to identify individuals who may be removable. They may know about people through a number of ways, such as people who have submitted an immigration application or have otherwise had interactions with the immigration system, such as at the border, or those who have been arrested and fingerprinted for a crime. ICE has broadened their scope of its enforcement in the last couple of years. Nevertheless, the following groups of people are still a prime focus for arrest and removal. So those with pending criminal cases or prior convictions, those with an order of removal from immigration courts or who have been previously removed, those who have committed fraud or misrepresentation in their immigration applications, or those who they believe pose a threat to public safety or national security. So if ICE comes to your workplace or your home, they may present you a warrant. A warrant is a document issued by a government official that gives law enforcement agents permissions to do something specific. There are different types of warrants and each one gives ICE certain permission. It's important to know what each warrant does and looks like. So first, we have the administrative warrant, which is also known as an ICE warrant. ICE warrants are addressed to federal immigration officers by their superiors at DHS and is used in civil immigration enforcement action. It's signed by an ICE officer and not a judge. An administrative warrant does not give ICE any permission to demand authority to the private areas of a workplace or your home. The other type of warrant we have is the judicial warrant. So a judicial warrant is which is signed by a state or federal judge. A judicial warrant can give ICE permissions to enter the private areas that we spoke about earlier. However, if the ICE agent does not have a judicial warrant, they'll need permission expressed vocally or by action of a resident to enter their home. If they do not have a judicial warrant, they'll need the express permission of the owner, manager, or supervisor to enter the private space of a workplace. Judges have different ways of writing warrants, so they can look different depending on who wrote it. Some things you will always find, however, are the name and signature of the judge, the name of the property they have permission to search, the date and time of the search, as well as the location of the courthouse. So if you're approached by federal immigration enforcement agents such as ICE, please be aware that you have rights regardless of your immigration status. Whenever you interact with ICE, it's important to remember the following. So always stay calm. You have the right to plead the Fifth Amendment, which is your right to remain silent. If you speak to ICE, anything you say can be used against you in the court of law, and you always can record the situation on your phone if you do feel comfortable doing so. The agents there, however, may tell you you're not allowed, but that's not true. People can report the ICE activity at the following numbers on your screen. Let me just pull the numbers up. So you can report the ICE activity at Legal Aid Immigration Hotline, which is at 1-844-955-3425, as well as Immigrant Defense Project Hotline, which is at 1-212-725-6422. Now, if ICE shows up at your door, you do not have to immediately open the door or speak to ICE. You have the right to remain silent. If you speak to ICE, anything you say can be used against you. However, you can say, "I don't want to talk to you right now." From behind closed doors, you may ask them for them to identify themselves and show you their badge, ID, or business card through the window, peephole, or pass it to you under the closed door. You can also ask ICE if they have a judicial warrant and for them to show you. If ICE agents do not have a judicial warrant signed by a judge, they cannot legally enter your home without the express permission from an adult at the home, except in emergency situations. If they do not have a judicial warrant, you may state that you do not consent to an entry or search, but this does not mean you're allowed to physically resist their search. If ICE enters your home without your permissions, you can tell them clearly, "I do not consent to you being in my home, please leave." Saying this may not always stop them, but it may help you in future legal cases. If ICE starts to search any rooms or items in your home, you can also tell them, "I do not consent to a search." You can continue repeating this to them if they continue to search without consent. You're also welcome to tell them if there are any children or other vulnerable residents in your household. So ICE can enter the public space of any workplace without needing any type of warrant. Public spaces include your office lobby, supermarket, retail store, or dining area of a restaurant. ICE cannot legally enter the private spaces of a workplace unless they have permission from your employer or a judicial warrant. Private spaces include your employee-only areas, which are the break room and storage room of a workplace. If approached by ICE at work, you do not have to answer their questions and can direct them to your employer. Your employer can then ask ICE to identify themselves and ask if ICE has a judicial warrant. So when ICE arrests someone in public, it typically happens quickly. They may call your name out loud, ask for you to confirm it, and then detain you. On the street or in public, you always have the right to remain silent. Before responding with your name or anything else, you may ask them, "Am I free to go?" If they say yes, then you can say, "I don't want to answer your questions," and then walk away. However, if they say no, you can say, "I want to use my right to not answer your questions," and then you can say, "I want to speak to a lawyer." If an ICE officer tries to search your pockets or belongings, you may say, "I do not consent to a search," but you may not physically resist their search. If you're being arrested by ICE, there are some things you should know. The agents there may not be able to communicate with you in your language. If you speak to ICE, anything you say can be used against you. Instead, you may state that you wish to speak to an attorney before saying or signing anything. You can tell them if you have any underlying medical issues or need to arrange for childcare. You should never lie or give any false documentation. You should not physically resist them. And if you're being detained, people in your community may film ICE, so long as they do not interfere with the officers. If ICE agents are trying to talk to or arrest you, starting or continuing to film them may put you at risk. So the detention process can be confusing, and immigration authorities may not walk you through everything. So it's important to know the information here. Again, agents may not be able to communicate with you in your language. You have the right to speak to an attorney or may take the time to obtain one. If you're detained, you have the right to call an attorney or your family. You have the right to be visited by an attorney in detention. You do not have to sign anything. You may ask to speak to your lawyer before saying or signing anything. You have the right to contact your consulate, as well as writing down the name and phone number of the deportation officer assigned to your case. If your loved one has been detained by ICE and you do not know where they're being taken, you can find them by using the ICE locator, which is locator.ice.gov. To use this locator, you'll need your loved one's country of birth and a number, or their country of birth, first and last name, make sure it's spelled correctly, and date of birth. It's safe to use this locator. So each ICE facility has their own set of rules and about visitation and sending money. You can look up visitation and other information here at ice.gov/detention-facilities. It's important to review each jail's requirements for identification and whether background checks are required. If you're worried about the risk of visiting your loved one, you should speak to an attorney prior. To find out when and where your loved one's next hearing will take place, you can call the EOIR hotline, which is at 1-800-898-7180, and input your loved one's A number. If they do appear in the system but do not have a court date scheduled, press 3 to check for old decision. If it says that a court has ordered removal, it means that your loved one will not get a new hearing, and it's extremely important for them to get legal help immediately, as they'll be on the fast track to deportation. So some ways that you can better prepare for possible immigration enforcement action besides practicing are these Know Your Rights workshops, as well as creating an emergency plan for you and your family in case you are detained or deported. Choose an emergency contact and memorize their phone number. This should be someone you trust, including someone like your lawyer. Next, you can choose a standby guardian for your children. So a standby guardian is a person you choose who will take care of your children when you cannot for up to 1 year. Making someone your standby guardian does not mean you're giving up your legal rights as a parent. It only means that you're giving the guardian permission to make certain decisions for your children when you cannot. To learn more about standby guardians, you can call the Action NYC hotline. So another way that you can better prepare is by getting a legal checkup to see if you're eligible for an immigration benefit and learn more about your immigration options. Even if you have consulted with an immigration lawyer in the past, you may want to do so again in case something has changed. So get an immigration legal checkup if you have any concerns about your immigration status, would like to learn more about your eligibility for an immigration benefit, need help with an immigration application, or would just like to consult with a safe and free immigration legal services provider. If you would like to learn more about your rights as immigrant New Yorkers, you can always call 311. So Moya provides legal services support through their constituent service line and Action NYC. Action NYC provides free, comprehensive, and confidential legal screenings to determine eligibility for immigration benefits, which include citizenship, green card applications and renewals, DACA, TPS, and much more. Action NYC's hotline is a live toll-free hotline that can connect you to immigration legal help and answer your questions. The hotline provides assistance in more than 200 languages, so you can call 1-800-354-0365 between the hours of 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday, or you can simply call 311 and say Action NYC to be connected with a live operator to make an appointment. So while it's important to get a legal screening to know the different types of relief you may be eligible for, it's also important to be cautious of the person or business you're discussing your immigration options with. Inappropriately filing an immigration application is not only a waste of your money, but may also result in deportation. Immigration law is complicated. Beware of fraudulent immigration providers who may indicate otherwise and make you false promises. Watch out for false promises such as an easy way to obtain your green card, a way to get a work permit or visa immediately, statements indicating there are no risk or consequences, or claims of special influence with immigration authorities. Once you've found a legal representative, always ask questions, even if the provider was recommended to you by a family member or a friend. And please remember the following. Only a lawyer or individual accredited by the U.S. Department of Justice, DOJ, can give you immigration legal advice. You can ask for proof of their bar license or accreditation from the DOJ. Always get a second opinion. In some countries, notary publics are like lawyers. However, that's not the case in the U.S. A notary public in the U.S. and other non-lawyers can only help you translate, photocopy, notarize, take your photo, and help you gather your documents. Only go to providers that have a physical location. Ask for a written agreement of services to be provided that's also signed by the provider. Never pay for government application forms. Application forms are free and can be downloaded on the USCIS website. Ask for a written receipt with the name and address of the provider. Keep all your original documents and copies of all documents submitted to the government. And never sign any blank or incomplete forms or anything you don't fully understand. To report immigration fraud, you can call the New Americans Hotline, which is at 1-800-566-7636. So now moving on to COVID-19. All New Yorkers should get a COVID-19 test whether or not they have symptoms or are at an increased risk. If you've already been tested and were negative, you should still get another test if you're showing symptoms or are concerned of a possible exposure. The Test and Trace Corps is an initiative to stop COVID-19 infections in New York City and help the city open back up. If you test positive, you'll receive a call from a contact tracer who will ask you if you need any medical attention, help you arrange for isolation at a hotel or your home, and create a list of everyone you had contact with since shortly before the onset of your symptoms. If you test positive, a tracer will also help facilitate healthcare as well as mental health services and medication delivery. Free testing is available regardless of your immigration status or whether you have insurance at the following location. So New York City Health and Hospitals operates multiple COVID-19 testing sites throughout the 5 boroughs. CityMD, through partnership with the New York City government, offers testing at all of its New York City sites on a walk-in basis, 7 days a week. Advantage Care Physicians has partnered with the New York State government to offer testing at 22 sites in New York City. For more information, you can visit nyc.gov/COVID-test. As important as it is to be able to access coronavirus testing, it's also critical that you can access healthcare services if you do get sick with COVID-19. So first, if you have health insurance, it's important to remember that all health insurance plans must cover COVID-19 testing without any out-of-pocket payments. Secondly, New York State Emergency Medicaid covers COVID-19 testing and treatment without any out-of-pocket payments for low-income uninsured residents, which includes documented immigrants. If you want to sign up for emergency Medicaid in advance, contact New York City Department of Health Insurance Enrollers by visiting the website or calling 311 and say "Get Covered." Third, if you have disputes about the medical bills or disagree with health insurance plans about your eligibility or coverage, or just have questions about navigating the healthcare and health insurance system, you can call the Community Health Advocates Hotline at 888-614-5400 Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. They also have a language line that can provide translation services in more than 170 languages. So currently in the US, there are 2 vaccines approved for use, Pfizer and Moderna. Both of these vaccines are more than 94% effective and safe. You cannot get COVID-19 from these vaccines. If you're concerned about getting the vaccine, you should speak to your doctor prior. The vaccines are free to all New Yorkers regardless of your immigration status. Your privacy will be protected. New York State is expanding COVID-19 vaccine eligibility in phases to make sure the most vulnerable people in our community can get the vaccines first. Currently, as of April 6th, everyone aged 16 and up have become eligible for the vaccine. To be eligible, you must also live or work in New York State. Proof of residency or employment is currently required. A letter from your employer, a driver's license, or ID NYC are all acceptable. So how do I get vaccinated? First, make sure you're eligible. Second, make an appointment. So an appointment is required at all sites for Pfizer and Moderna. If you're eligible, you can make an appointment using vaccinefinder.nyc.gov or by calling 1-877-829-4692. Third, select your preferred site to see available appointments. Some sites can be booked directly online, while others need to be called. This is specified on the vaccine finder. Once you select your preferred site, fill out the required forms, which may be different depending on which site you chose. The appointment for your second dose of the vaccine will be scheduled after you receive your first dose, which is approximately about a month later and must be done at the same location. So that concludes my presentation for today. I just want to thank you all so much for listening. I know I just dumped a lot of information on everyone, but I'm just going to open up the floor to questions. You can unmute yourself to ask me, or you can simply type your question in the chat, and I'll try my best to answer.
Barry, can I just have a point of reference?
Yes, go ahead, Ralph.
I think that was a great presentation, Stephanie. A lot of information. Thank you so much. But you need to send us like either flyers or a presentation that we're able to share. Because like you even said yourself, that was a lot of great information. I think it can apply whether you're an immigrant or not, to some New Yorkers. So if there's any way that you can follow up with the office as far as sending us any brochures or flyers, we'll greatly appreciate it. But thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank
Thank
you,
you
Mr.
so
Chair.
much. We do have available one-pagers on some of these informations that I can share. Just can't necessarily share the slide deck, but I can send that to you right after the meeting.
Well, Stephanie, I'd like to say something. It's my understanding that you can share if you get the approval from the mayor and city hall. Are you going to ask for that approval?
Yeah, we have to ask to get it approved first.
But I'm saying, are you going to definitely ask for the approval?
I can, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Questions?
No one has their hands raised.
I got a question. I'd like to ask you, do you know, does ICE have cameras? Are they required to carry cameras like New York City police are?
That I'm not sure. You mean on their uniforms, is that correct?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, we're not sure about that. But if you ever have an encounter with ICE, you're always welcome to record the situation on your phone as well.
And my next question, my understanding, if somebody knocks on your door, the best solution is not to even answer the door. Do I got that right?
Yeah,
That's the best solution, yes. Okay.
that's the best solution. Unless they show you that they have a judicial warrant, you don't have to bother with them at all.
Do we have any more questions for Stephanie? Ladies, gentlemen, questions? Last call, no questions? You can put your question in the chat box, answer that way also. No questions? All right, so we're going to move forward. Stephanie, like to say thank you so much. I thought it was very informative, kind of long, but I'll try to write most of the stuff down and get everything. But thank you very much. Our second presenter, we're going to go with, let's see. I don't know how to pronounce the right name, but is it Ray Iris? The mobile's right?
It's right here, but don't pay no mind. It's just my name. I think my mom was drunk when she named me. That's
Okay.
the point.
No, most moms have a reason for naming you something. Believe me, they have a reason. You should ask her. She might tell you.
She gave me a story about my name being a combination of two Egyptian names, but I'm Dominican. You imagine?
Okay. Okay. So the floor is yours. Do your thing.
Thank
Go
you
ahead.
so much. Thank you for having me. I have participated with Bronx Community Board #2 before, and I have forwarded the brochures to you before as well. That's how we came to arrange this presentation, this micro presentation today. So my name is Raidiris Dominguez. I am an information and assistance specialist, as well as the outreach coordinator for Neighborhood Shop New York Connect of the Bronx. Neighborhood Shop has been servicing the community, specifically the Bronx community seniors, for over 4 decades so far. It's a multi-service agency. It has 13 programs designed for the seniors, with the exception of New York Connect, which I will elaborate on. So within those 13 programs we offer for seniors in the Bronx, we offer case management, case assistant, caregiving. We have also a NOR program. We offer friendly visiting, elder abuse, Office of Victim Services. They have also 4 senior centers, one of them being an innovative senior center. And one of the latest programs that was added to Neighborhood Shop is New York Connect of the Bronx. That's the one that I work for. So what is New York Connect? How is it beneficial for the community? How is it beneficial for the youth? New York Connect is a form of a call center. We pretty much assist the seniors and also the disabled community to navigate the social service field. Every borough has their own hub. We are assigned, once again, part of the redundancy, to the area of the Bronx. The Queens has their own hub. Manhattan has their own hub. Brooklyn, I believe it's through JASA. So for the Bronx is through New York Connect of the Bronx Neighborhood Shop. We are administered by Department for the Aging, as well as SOFA, the State of the Aging. We receive fundings through both sources as well. So we have long-term care counselors. The long-term care counselors are assigned to a senior or a disabled person who is homebound, that cannot get out of the home to come and visit to our office, or that cannot stay on the phone explaining whatever circumstances they're facing at the moment. Due to COVID, that service has been suspended, but I still present it anyways, because I believe that sooner than later we will go back to normal, hopefully. We have language line to facilitate the communication with those who do not speak English or Spanish, considering that our call center is majority bilingual, Spanish and English. We provide ongoing advocacy. So it is a call center. However, what makes us unique is the fact that it's not a place where you just are given a phone number and there is no follow-through. We do provide ongoing advocacy. So if a senior or a disabled individual give us a call, we will advocate for them. We will educate them on the process. And once they leave our nest, it's because they're already connected to the services or resources or entitlements that they were looking for, and that could assist them in the situation that they presented to us initially. We receive an approximate of 300 and plus calls per month, and we use the no wrong door screening. What does that mean? That means that we will access not only the problem that is presented to us, but we also access the other aspect of it, either the wellness in terms of housing, in terms of food, in terms of the well-being complete of the person. How is it relevant to the youth? Neighborhood Shop, they do offer internship for those who are interested on embarking into the social workers field. Obviously, even though the youth may not need long-term care services, but they may need assistance with either Medicaid or food stamp or low-income housing, and that's pretty much how it's relevant to the youth. So just to give you an example of a daily call that we get, or a call that we get in a daily basis. So let's say a senior give us a call and said that they now turning 65 and they're relatively new to all this of Medicare, and now their income would be reduced, and now they need to find a way to adjust themselves to this new situation that they will be facing once they turn 65. So we listen to the issue. We will help them navigate benefits such as Medicare savings program to save them with a Medicare Part B premium. We will assist them with looking for senior housing, depending on their situation. There are all the type of housing, assisted living, or a home sharing, or I don't know, the screen, dream. All of those benefits that are there, that are designed and created for the seniors that maybe they do not know about. That's where we come in. It's pretty much providing education and assistance. It's like case management over the phone. We all know that knowledge is power. The more you know, the more you tap into those services that are created for you. And that's pretty much what we do. We assist the senior and the disabled community, and I will dare to say the entire population navigate the social service field, connecting the population, connecting the community to those goodies, to those resources that are there that many people do not know about. So that's pretty much my presentation. If you have any questions, any concerns, by all means, you can feel free to ask me now. I will stay up until the end as well. So if you have any concerns and you want to keep it until the end, you can ask me. The way that you can communicate with us is by phone or by email right now, because the office is currently closed. You can contact us. I put it in the chat. You can call us at 347-862-5200. I also put in the chat my supervisor and the administrative assistant's email. So if you have any, if yourself or a loved one or anyone that you think of could benefit from our program, by all means, you can feel free to refer them to us. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Minkus. Let me ask any questions, anybody?
Larry, there's nobody with their hand raised. So
Nobody with their hand raised. Well, I got a question. You used to be located at 953 Southern Boulevard?
Yes, we are
Okay.
located on 953 Southern Boulevard, but currently we are not mentioning the address because there is a possibility that we may be relocating. So that's
Okay.
why I don't even share the address anymore.
know.
Once we get that new address, if we eventually move out to another location, I would definitely be sharing it with the community board too and all of the other community boards as well.
Okay, so you said you put your email in the chat too, chat box?
My supervisor, the administrative assistant, and also the main line.
Okay.
Because sending it to me would be like a
I
waste of
understand.
time because I am part of the call center, so the calls will be rotating. But by any means, if you want it, I can definitely share my email with you.
Okay, please do that. Another one more question. Is Miss Kathy Figueroa still there with you guys?
Catherine Martinez is the CEO. Catherine Figueroa, I believe she's part of case management, if I'm not mistaken. I believe she is still part of us.
Case management. Okay, thank you.
No problem. My pleasure.
Final call for questions. Okay, I would say thank you. We're going to go to our last presenter. Are you ready, Antoine?
Yes, sir.
Okay, your turn. All yours. Floor is yours.
All right. Thank you for having us, everybody. My name is Antoine Noble. I am the founder of We Got Next Sports. Along with me, I have Kavon Willett. He's the co-chair. He's in here as well. Again, thanks for having us. This one means a lot to us because we actually live in this neighborhood. We're both living on Barretto Street. So we're really accustomed. We've been here for about 6 years. So we're really accustomed to the neighborhood and what's going on in the community. Our organization, We Got Next Sports, is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that is working towards helping out the student athlete. One of our missions is to help with mentoring of a student athlete and building their skills in their chosen sports. Our second priority is helping to build the participation from a girl's standpoint in sports. As you guys may know, girls stop playing sports at 14. They decrease by half the amount of boys, and that's something we're trying to stop from happening. So we want to encourage some sporting events that are just for girls, some girl empowerment events that we have planned as well. And that's like an overview of what we're trying to do in the community. Our reasoning for coming to this board today is we would like to start establishing ourselves in this community. Right now, we have a co-location agreement in Soundview at the Soundview Cornerstone Center, where we're starting to do an after-school program over there for free sports program for kids in the neighborhood. We'd love to help out in this community as well. Another event that we have planned over in that community board 9 area is a sports equipment giveaway for the youth that we're helping with. We're just interested in doing that stuff where we live and getting some things going over here as well. We would love to establish a summer basketball tournament for the kids in this area. Me and my peers, we still go out and play, and we see a lot of empty courts. We see a lot of empty um, like fields on the weekend. We want to help getting kids back out into those things and learning sports and having the chance to do that. I have nieces and nephews that live in the area as well, and it's just been a lack of programs, and we want to help change that. Kavon?
Keep going. Say what you got to say.
Oh no, I'm letting Kavon go.
Yeah, just to touch on that, pretty much, we also want to, provide some education as far as, any kind of education in relate to sports, let's say like sports management. So even for those youth that they feel that they can't really get into the sports, there's also other things that we can teach them as well, such as statistics and equipment management and some of those life learning things, or some of those things that are related to real life things that are tied into sports as well. Also using the sports, of course, we want to give them a nice outlook of what they can do in their future when it comes down to sports, and any kind of like leadership, or any kind of leadership goals that they can gain from doing sports as well. Of course, some of the other things that we do want to provide is, if we can utilize our local park, maybe we can put on a picnic for the community, a barbecue, those kind of things, of course. And like Antoine said, we do want to provide some activity for the kids, even the possibility of doing summer Olympics, just to get the kids active and just moving around, because we've had these past years where there's not a lot of movement, and it's been geared towards staying in the house and using a lot more technology. We want to bring back the outdoor and more activities, while we educate the next generation and have them move forward.
And to go more into the educational mentoring part of it, our board consists of a few former athletes that came from these neighborhoods, including myself. One of the main reasons I went to school was went to college was the aspiration of playing basketball, and that helped me guide me in that direction. And I have a lot of friends that unfortunately that didn't work for. So I would love to have some sit downs where I could bring in some former teammates, former people from the neighborhood that went on to schools and became successful in their industries that they chose, and talk to the kids and let them know, hey, it's not always about going pro or things like that. Sports just teaches you a lot of different disciplines that can help you be successful in your professional life. So that's another thing we'll be doing with our programs. On a monthly basis, we would like to bring in a different type of speaker. We have a lot of volunteers that are like ready and ready to help us out. We're building a nice little backing. We're only 8 months officially founded, and we've been building a good backing through our networks that we have currently. So we're pretty much ready to help the community in any aspects that we can, especially if you guys have anything going on this summer that you're trying to get out there. We're willing to volunteer as well. We're open to collaborations with other organizations. We're going to be putting on a mental health awareness of like 3-point shooting contests with another nonprofit called North Compass this July. So we have a lot of things in the works, but not necessarily in this community. So we just wanted to introduce ourselves formally and just open for questions and get some collaborations going in the community. I am going to be working on some permits to have a tournament this summer and to start having some events in the area. I would love to. Right now, we're planning a Father's Day, like 1-day tournament with just a little bit of teams. I know COVID's still going on, and we have some guidelines in place that we would put into place. So I would love to do that in this community if possible. I'm going to be putting in some permits, hopefully talking to the rec group as well. And that's our presentation.
Questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
No questions?
We have Ray Arroyo with his hand raised.
Ray,
Hey, everyone. Good evening. Hey, gentlemen, I'm Raymond Arroyo. I'm the manager of the banknote building. It's on Lafayette and Barretto, if you know the big
Okay.
building. So I'm also part of the 41st Precinct Council. And I've actually been working with the police officers for the 41st Precinct. So we've done 2 flag football games in Barretto Park right there, Monida Park, whatever you want to call it. And then last Saturday, the 17th, we did a basketball game. So I'm actually in the development of putting together like a little soccer camp, like an 8-week soccer camp for different age groups, just teaching the basics. And we're doing this in collaboration with the police department, the officers that actually work in our community, not outside of our community. And they work closely with me too. So, if you guys are more than interested, I'll put my email in the chat group.
Yeah.
I would love the input.
I personally think that's essential too. Just working with the police department in our neighborhood so they can get out. Children
We
can see their
started.
faces.
We could use all the help. I'm actually meeting with them next week to put the plan together for the soccer camp. My kids are grown, and when they were growing up, I didn't live in this community. I lived elsewhere, and every Saturday was religious soccer with the kids. And that's from we did wiffle ball when they were teeny tots. We did baseball, we did soccer, we did karate. So we're trying to introduce these things into the neighborhood and we're working closely with Mr. Smalls from the rec center. So he's giving us the permits. So listen, it's amazing that what you guys are doing, and if I can collaborate, even if you can't help us with ours, if I can help you with yours, I'm right there at the banknote. So I'm gonna throw my email in there so you can reach out to me when you have a chance.
Thank you. Yeah, we're absolutely interested. We definitely want to establish a strong connection with the police department because I think that's important as well. Just having the kids know faces of the people that are in their neighborhood so that we can all collaborate and have just build this community.
I'll make that happen for you, my friend. I'm with them almost every week doing something. So you guys have it in.
Thank you. Thank you.
questions?
I have 2 quick questions, Larry. I just want to know where they're currently located at.
We are full transparency. We just started, so we're pretty much working out of home. But we do now have a co-locator agreement with Soundview Cornerstone. So that's going to be like our home of business going forward.
So being just started, what funding are you receiving? Are you receiving any funding?
We were receiving in-kind donations from our networks. We're doing pretty well on a month-to-month basis, getting donations. And now that we have a actual home location, that will help with grants.
Great.
So money's coming in.
Okay. Thank you, Larry.
Okay. So Antoine, I really like these ideas you're doing, and I'm really strong about getting kids off the street, putting other things in their minds and their hands to do rather than getting involved with negativity. And I really like that. I would like you to, if you can make an effort for you guys to please attend our youth services meetings. I think that'd be a good thing because we could spread the word that way also. And I know the commissioner of the Bronx Park, and I know our senior outreach coordinator for New York City Parks Department. I'm gonna reach out to them about you guys. And Commissioner Silver is retiring this year, so I don't know how his focus would be on continuing to do certain things, but we're gonna reach out to them. And I'm gonna try to get everybody, community board too, to connect with you guys. Do you guys have, when you have events, you go give out flyers and stuff like that? Or you'll let me know or contact me?
Yeah, so let's exchange emails. I'll keep you posted on any events we're doing. I'll send you out flyers. I'll also send you like a program overview of just basically what we're trying to do in the community. I can send that over to you. Yeah, I'll make sure to keep you updated. We're definitely interested in collaborating in any way possible that you guys can help us with.
Okay, let me ask you another question. I'm on Barretto Street, so you must be on the other side, Barretto, past Bertha.
Yeah, so we're across that bridge.
Okay, I got you. I know you at.
Yeah. We're closer to Barretto Point Park.
Yeah, okay, I know you. I just want to be sure. I'm saying I haven't seen you on this side, so I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe I know him personally. I don't know. Okay, that's good. All right. Any more questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, Angie.
I would like to know, for the age groups of which you're looking to reach out to, what age, from what age to what age?
So we are ready to accommodate everything third grade up. At the community center we're working at now, we're doing like third to fifth, sixth to eighth. So we're working in that group. If there's a big need for like the smaller tykes, I have some experience working with those. So for instance, like my nephew and some of his friends, I do some things with them, like Sunday early mornings, and they're 4 years old. So it's all up to the need really in the community. We can accommodate.
Okay, and I have another question. As far as for females, what do you have to offer the females as far as sports? Because I know a lot of the girls are into volleyball.
So right now our focuses are what we're experts in. We're going to expand, of course, but right now we're focusing mainly on basketball, soccer. We want to start some t-ball / baseball, softball. So those would be the main things. To tell you a little bit about the people I have on staff, my board consists of a few women's collegiate basketball players, high-level basketball players that are great with kids, that work with kids. So I think it'll be a great experience for any girls in the neighborhood to learn from them, especially one of them. Her name is Dolly. She's from the Bronx, and she played basketball, and she still is working to give back to the community. So I think learning from girls like that will hopefully encourage them to love basketball, and we also want to push baseball, soccer as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I like Emily. I see your chat or your input on the thing. You said you'd like to collaborate with them. You want to talk to them directly now?
Hi, Larry. Hi, everyone. This is Emily Vasquez from Senator Biaggi's office. Yes, they put their information in the chat, and so I'll follow up with them through email, but I'd love to collaborate because our office has been thinking of doing sports in the summer for the kids all over the district, and so we're more than happy to do a collaboration with CB2 and everyone involved.
Thank you, Emily. We love to work with you.
Okay, is anybody else that put the information in the chat that would love to collaborate with these guys? Step up to the plate. Let them know that you're here to support them.
Good evening. My name is Monica, representing Assemblyman Kenny Burgos in the 85 district. I put in my information in the chat. We would love to also support you guys. So, and I know that Assemblyman will be happy too. So just email me with anything that we can help you with.
Thank you, Monica. And one more thing I wanted to add is we do have a women's empowerment, girl empowerment weekend that we have planned. So we would love if there's any speakers that you guys can point us toward that we could have come in as well and talk to the girls once we establish that. And we're in the process of establishing our girls program now, and would love to establish one in this community board.
Sounds good to me. Anybody else?
Ray Arroyo raised his hand again.
Go ahead, Ray, you got it.
Well, in respect to the women's empowerment, you might want to, if you reach out to me, I'll connect you with Hunts Point Alliance for Children. Have you heard of them?
No, I have not.
They specialize in early childhood education, from toddler all the way through college, and they have special programs just for girls. One of them is called the Mighty Quills, to emphasize on writing and literature for girls. So I might, my email's there. Shoot me an email. I'd love to connect with you guys on that too.
Thank you, Ray.
Any more questions? No more questions? One time, 2 times, 3 times, you struck out, people. Okay, Kevon, I'd like to say thank you guys for giving a presentation today, man. Hope you guys
Thank you for
come
having
back
me.
and give more. Make sure you send those flyers to community board too. And I'm pretty sure this community will support you guys. They like your ideas, your plans for the future of the kids in this community.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, thank you guys. Welcome. So I'd like to make a motion to close our meeting. Somebody say, let's get this meeting over with. Somebody.
I second.
Is that
Let's
the end
go.
of the
Let's go.
agenda?
That's not the end.
On the agenda, but the chair, the chair, a call for an adjournment. We had just some other old business and announcements, but if the chair
Well,
does
listen.
adjournment, call for an adjournment.
The old business is basically the annual autism event that we all went to. I don't know if we really got any new business. Anybody got announcements? Ray, you got
Old
announcements?
business, old business on the agenda. We just wanted to just brief, if anything, about the autism awareness event.
Hey, Ralph.
I thought it went well. I mean, it was very well attended, very
I thought
well
it was great.
organized, and I'm happy that we were able to participate. So that's that. In announcements, we have some announcements here. The Earth Day is actually tomorrow. We do have some flyers on our social media of events that are occurring. I think there's one at the Black Hand Project, Cynthia was saying before, 972 Simpson Street.
Yeah.
We have the Al Quiñones co-naming, which is occurring next month at 52 Park, that we were a part of. And the Juneteenth event that's happening virtually. We have the flyers and we've been announcing it in support. That's it for the announcements, Larry.
Okay. No new business, right, Ralph?
None that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
None.
I have one more thing.
Who's that?
Garden. This is Zero to Grow. Kamal Mabry.
Hello?
Hey, Colin, go ahead.
We're having a
Oh,
short
yes, go
garden
ahead.
cleanup this Saturday. You having a short
Papito.
garden this Saturday morning.
Hi, Papito.
From 10
I'm hearing
a.m.
2 people. Who's speaking now? One person at a time.
Yes. So this Saturday morning, I have a garden cleanup at Synergy Urban Garden 2.0 at the 1211 Whole Avenue. And yeah, we'll be out there, cleaning up, freshening up for the spring. And that's where we'll be at this Saturday.
Do you have any
send me a flyer?
Yeah, give us some information. We can blast that for you.
Cool. I'll definitely I'll send Larry a flyer as well as and I'll put a link in the chat as well.
That'll work. Okay, who else wants to say something? I thought I heard 2 people talking at once. I'm not sure. Nope.
She was just unmuted by accident.
Okay. So can we close this meeting now? Okay, somebody second again. We're going to adjourn this meeting. All right. Second. Don't forget to put your information in the chat box. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, have a good
Great
night.
meeting. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Bye.